There is something strange about Nigeria. Nigeria is one of the biggest oil producing countries in the world. Yet, Nigerians are struggling to afford fuel. And how does that even make sense? How can a country that has oil be buying fuel like a country that does not? That is the question that many people ask every day. No explanation, no warning, just a number on a board quietly increased. And everyone adjusts because what choice do they have? You wake up in the morning, transport fare has increased, food price has increased, and somehow everything traces back to one thing: fuel. But the real question here is not why is fuel expensive? The real question is why does the price keep increasing? Because this is not a one-time problem. It keeps happening again and again. And if you don't understand the system, it will keep confusing you. Now, let's break it down like a story. Because what is happening with fuel in Nigeria is not just about economics, it's history, decisions, systems, and consequences. From the outside, Nigeria looks like an energy giant: oil rigs, pipelines, export terminals. And for decades, oil has been and is still the backbone of Nigerian economy. But one of the biggest misunderstandings Nigerians have is this: we have oil, so oil should be cheap. Sounds logical, right? But it's not that simple, because there is a difference between crude oil and refined oil. Crude oil is like raw food. You cannot eat raw rice, you must cook it. In the same way, crude oil must be refined before it becomes petrol, diesel, kerosene. And here is where the problem lies. Nigeria produces crude oil but struggles to refine it. Imagine having a farm full of cocoa, but you do not have the factory to turn it into chocolate. So what do? You sell the cocoa, then buy chocolate at a higher price. That's exactly what Nigeria does with oil.
And $8.2 billion subsidizing products. 100% of what we earned in the oil sector went out to import petrol.
Years ago, Nigeria built refineries. The Port Harcourt refinery, commissioned in 1965. The Warri refinery, commissioned in 1978. And the Kaduna refinery, commissioned in 1980. These refineries were supposed to process crude oil locally, supply fuel within the country. But over time, things started going wrong. The machines were not maintained, funds disappeared, projects were abandoned halfway. And instead of fixing the system, the country started doing something easier, which is fuel importation. At first, it seemed like a quick solution, but that quick solution became a long-term problem. Now, imagine this: Nigeria exports crude oil, ships carry it abroad, it gets refined in another country, then Nigeria buys it back as fuel at a higher price. That alone is already expensive, but it doesn't stop there. When fuel is imported, you are not just paying for fuel, you are paying for shipping, insurance, port fees, storage, transportation, middlemen profits. By the time it gets to the filling station, the price has already grown. For a long time, Nigerians didn't feel the full impact of this because of subsidy. The government was quietly covering part of the cost. So even if fuel was expensive globally, you bought it at a lower price. It felt normal, it felt manageable, but behind the scenes, the government was bleeding money. Dating back to President Goodluck Jonathan's presidency, subsidy was a national debate. Billions were spent yearly. But here it's where it gets darker. Subsidy started as help, but it slowly turned into a burden because the cost kept increasing. Corruption entered the system. Fake claims were made. Some companies were paid for fuel they never supplied. Money was disappearing, and the system became very difficult to control. Subsidy wasn't just expensive, it became a system where people benefited quietly. Everything changed. The newly sworn in president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, made an announcement.
The first subsidy is gone.
And the immediate effect was surge in fuel prices from 195 naira to over 600 naira. Transportation cost doubled. Cost of living skyrocketed. It was like removing a bandage from a wound that had been there for years. Even if Nigeria fixed everything locally, there is still something bigger: the global oil market. Russian-Ukraine war, the US, Iran, and Israel conflict has triggered a severe surge in Nigeria fuel prices, causing a 40% increase as global oil prices crossed $80 to $100 per barrel. Disruptions in global shipping, particularly through the Strait of Hormuz, have increased global supply chain costs. When global crises happen, oil prices rise, shipping costs rise, supply chains get disrupted, and Nigeria feels it instantly. This is also one of the biggest reasons fuel importation is done in dollars, but Nigerians earn in naira. So when the naira becomes weaker, fuel becomes more expensive. You are earning naira or paying dollar. That gap is where the pain comes from. Fuel is not just for cars. Fuel powers transportation, food supply, electricity, businesses. So when fuel increases, everything increases. That is why even people without cars are affected. Now, there is hope. The Dangote refinery, a massive project which is also the biggest refinery in Africa, officially commenced production on the 12th of January 2024, is one example that if Nigeria refines its own fuel, importation will reduce, cost will stabilize, supply will definitely improve. But the reality is change takes time. It won't fix everything overnight because the system has been broken for years. Fuel price keeps increasing in Nigeria because of exchange rate instability, import dependency, years of poor infrastructure, subsidy removal, global pressure, logistics and distribution costs, lack of strong local refining. This didn't start today and it won't end tomorrow. Now you understand not just what is happening, but why it keeps happening. And maybe next time the price changes, it won't feel like confusion. It will feel like understanding.